Just going to carry on where we are because I know we want to get on to the collaboration rooms as well. So yeah, just finally, so because of my experience of my mental health and my well-being, what I'd gone through, I believe that everybody's unique and we all need to be able to kind of access the tools that we need that suit us best. As Chandra mentioned, I do a whole variety of things, as you can see, from starting my career for many years as a professional figure skater, done television skating as well. It's like the Ice Warriors teacher. I also do hair and makeup. And I absolutely love that. I mean, the best thing about teaching is being able to dress up on World Book Day. And I know Edme did a storytelling earlier on. So if Edme, if you ever need somebody to dress up while you do your storytelling, I'll be there. So I've got loads of outfits for that. And as you mentioned, I've got a weekly show, Mindset Matters, it's called, and it's all about exploring mental health and well-being every Friday from 11 to 12. The whole idea of this is to be able to break down stigmas and, you know, bring more awareness to mental health and well-being, all the aspects, because it's absolutely fundamental, and sharing that we all go through challenging times and it's okay not to be okay. And it, you know, and it's important to reach out and ask for help. And for me, it was that self-realization of asking for help and knowing that I had to do something in order to move forward. Otherwise, if I hadn't looked for help to kind of help me with what I was going through, I don't know where I'd be right now. So this show is reaching out to all those people out there. As Joanna said, I do all these things. As you can see, there's always fun behind the scenes as well. Laughter, you know, at the Newman Centre, on Zoom, wherever we are. And of course, most recently, the Bromley Buzz, which I'm having a lot of fun doing with Darren, aka Dazzle, that we call him. Right, I'm going to go in, because there's so much I can talk about. I wanted to focus on the benefits of using one of these tools and techniques is emotional freedom tapping, EFT. Right, so EFT, what are emotions? Okay, emotions or feelings causing imbalance in energy, making one feel either scared, afraid, anger, hurt, jealousy, all these sort of emotions. So that's what our emotions are. And it's really important to be able to try and understand what are thoughts and what are the emotions behind when things are happening to us. So how do emotions get trapped in our body? So it's the inability to express or the fight or for self or others, the continued helplessness or threatened feelings, feeling ashamed when you feel that guilt, the fear of others. There's when you get busy schedules, suppression, sudden changes. So that's how our emotions, in a short, get trapped within our body. And we are all made up of energy. So there's a lot of energy that goes on around us. You know, if you're ever in a room and sometimes you get a feeling of sometimes we get those positive energies of people, sometimes negative energies, because we're constantly trapped with that electric kind of energy going around us. So the energy field. Also, we're all on a different vibration. Those of you who are also coaches in here will know all about the unique vibrations that we have within us. And we also have the energy in living or non-living. And this always differs from person to person. No one is the same. Everyone is unique. Everyone is different. We all suffer from sadness, but everybody's vibrations of sadness is different. So what is EFT? EFT is a psychological version of acupuncture. It's acupuncture without the needles. So if you've ever had that, this is a more subtle way of doing it. But what you're doing is you're tapping on Chinese meridian points, which is it's connected to the self-help of your mind and your body, combining those two with gentle tapping. And it can also be done for somebody else, and it works phenomenally on everybody, from adults to children, even on pets. So EFT is really, really powerful. And all you need is your fingertips. And we're going to go through a bit of tapping, so you kind of know where the pressure points are. So the basic tapping. It's generally on the face and then the body. So what EFT allows you to have is the release of the negative energy that you're having, that uncomfortable feeling that you may have of guilt, of fear, anything of those negative experiences that you might be having. And then eventually what you do is you replace it with the feelings and the thoughts that you want, those desired feelings and thoughts. And for some people, it works immediately. For others, it may take a little bit longer. But the beauty about EFT is you can do it anytime, anywhere you want. And nobody will know that you're tapping away unless you do a couple of the ones where you've got one that you do under the armpit. And if you go around doing this, you kind of look like a bit of like a monkey. So you might look a bit odd doing that on the train station, but there are other tapping points that you can do. So nobody knows what you're doing at that moment. So that's the beauty about it. Right, how long have I got, Chandra? I'm not timing myself.
You got about 10 minutes.
That was 10 minutes ago.
You got another 10 minutes.
Okay, so tapping points. We, as you can see on the images, there's various tapping points. You've got the two at the eyebrow, you've got the side of the eyes, you've got under the eye, which is just there where the bone is. You've got under the nose, the bridge of your nose underneath, or the bridge of your mouth, the chin, okay? And then you've got the collarbone here. And those are your tapping points. And you can either tap with two hands or you can tap with just one hand if you want. You've got the karate chop point, which will be the main one where you set everything. So that's where you set your statements. And we're going to go through that in a second. And then I haven't put it on there, but you do have the one just here for, it's just kind of underneath the armpit. If, you know, for women, it's easy because we've got the bra line, it's kind of on that bit. So you tap there. So that's the other point. With the tapping, what it does, it reboots your personal energy system in relation to the issues that you have at hand. And it's a repeated statements that we do so that you come to terms with that, which then releases those negative. And then you then, as I said before, replace it with positive. Now, when we're tapping and you're really kind of in the motion of it, there are side effects, but these side effects aren't severe. So these side effects will be, you'll either start giggling, you might start crying, you might start burping, coughing, and some people, excuse me, but they let off gas and they start farting because it's a release of energy. So yes, these can be, but it doesn't always happen. It can happen sometimes. I'm dreading seeing people's faces right now with me saying that. So yeah, that's the only thing with tapping, that you get those kind of emotions, because as we know, when we release energy, we're detoxing, there are symptoms that are going to be coming out. Okay. Are we ready for some tapping? Yeah. Okay. So when we set up some tapping, we have to focus, as I said, on the negative emotion and assess the intensity. So whatever it might be. So right now, I want you to think about something, and we're going to do this really easily. So something that might be worrying you a little bit, or you've got a bit of anxiety over, and I want you to think about what that is. Okay. And you're then going to put that into a statement. So first of all, I want you to rate that intensity from 0 to 10. So 0 being you've got none of that happening. But if obviously we're picking on something that you have, 10 being that the intensity is really, really high. Okay, so the idea of having the scale is, as we go through the repeated process, the intensity should start to drop. That feeling, that emotion, it should be released. And the idea is to get from whatever number you're at down to as close as possible to a 1 or a 0. Okay, so have a think about what that is. So it could be, for example, that you're feeling anxious about an upcoming event that you might be speaking at, or a workshop that you might want to, or you're meeting a new client, anything that you have around it, or, you know, a personal issue that might be happening. And the statement that we say is, even though I have this, and you state the concern that you have, that uncomfortable emotion that you have. And then you finish it off with, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, so even though I have this, I deeply and completely accept myself. And what you're going to do on your karate point chalk, so I can't see anybody because I've got the screen. I've only got Chandra, Mark and Tony in view. So you're going to start on your karate chop. You're going to take your 2 fingers and you're going to tap there. Okay, you're tapping on that sore point, the karate chop point, and you're going to say that statement 3 times. So saying it to yourself, even though I have this, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I have this, I deeply and completely accept myself. And again, even though I have this, I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, then that uncomfortable feeling, that statement that you've got, you're going to tap on your eyebrow right there, and you're going to go state that. So if it's feeling stressed, so feeling stressed, you might tap it. So that statement word, that negative statement word. Then you're going to go and say the same one to the side of the eye. Repeat that statement. Just the emotional statement. There we go. And then under the eye. Okay. And then the bridge of your nose underneath. Repeating that uncomfortable emotional statement. And then on the chin. And then you're going to go to your collarbone, chest, and tap there. This is my favorite point, just literally there. Okay. And then you stop, you take a deep breath. And then what you do is you rate that feeling of the intensity to see if it's moved or shifted. And you just keep repeating that process till that comes down. And sometimes you might want to add in an extra statement as well. So that's basically the process that you would use on here. So you go from the eyebrow to the side of the eye, under the eye, down below on the bridge of your mouth, chin, and then your chest. But you always set up your full statement on your karate soft point. Okay. There is a lot more behind EFT, lots more other pressure points, but these are the basic self-help tools that you can use. The other thing that's great about this is you can also tap for somebody. If you know someone who is invalid or insane, who can't tap for themselves, you can do that in front of them and taking them through their emotions and doing that for them. And because we're all made up of energy, that transmits as well. And that's what's great about it. So you don't even have to touch a person. And even if you don't want to touch yourself, say if you've got a sore spot on your face, you can just imagine tapping that area without actually tapping your skin. There are other statements here that you can use as well. So it doesn't have to be the one that I've shown you. So it can be, even though you've got, I want to accept myself, I can accept this. Just the where I am right now. So there's lots of different things you can add in depending on what you're going through. The one that's going to be more impactful for you, that's going to empower you to release those negative emotions. So in a nutshell, anywhere, anyone, anytime. Surrogate tapping, when we can apply surrogate EFT in person, also unable to do it themselves, as I said. You can do it for children, or children can do it for themselves. I've used this while I've been in school. I still use it for children that are very, very anxious, and it works phenomenally with them. Person in a coma, for your spouse, distant healing. So you can do it over Zoom. You know, do it for somebody else who doesn't want to do it for themselves. Just ask for permission, obviously, before you go and tap on them. So if you really want to change your life, you must be willing to change your mind. And I'm going to leave you with that. There are my details. and any questions. So I can go on and on forever, but I know there's so much.
Thank you very much, Zeenat. It was a great presentation. If there's any questions, either put them in the chat box. If you raise your hand, we'll take the questions one at a time. Right, Tony first. Tony.
I've been looking at presentations live and online for about 25, 30 years. That is one of the best I've ever seen. I absolutely congratulate you. That is wonderful.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much, Tony. That's really good. And yes, it was an awesome presentation. Darren, over to you.
Yeah, I enjoyed that too. I got a question about EFT itself, which is, we know that acupuncture goes back to ancient Chinese times. How old is EFT?
It's actually not as far back as that. I would say it's about sort of 50 years. So it's been one of those that are kind of a voodoo thing. People look at it and go, oh, that's a bit bizarre. It's not, you know, it doesn't really work, but it's slowly becoming more and more common because people know of the acupuncture, and then you've got those pressure points that they've now, obviously, because not everybody likes needles, not everybody wants that people want alternative methods of healing. Yeah. I mean, I love the needles. I love acupuncture, so I'd go with that first off.
Thank you very much.
All our family are into acupuncture. You know, acupuncture was part and parcel of saving my wife's life.
Right, yeah.
With a nasty disease, which I won't go into, but you've actually absolutely hit me right between the eyes with that. That's wonderful. What a marvelous presentation.
I mean, there's so many therapies that have crossovers like NLP, hypnosis, kinetic shift. There's always a link with all these different types of techniques and therapies. Just sometimes they're slightly distinctive, or somebody else, Sarah's got one, you know, have come up with them and done more research behind them, but they've all got links to them.
Thank you very much, Tony. Sarah, you are next.
I just wanted to ask, out of all of the different therapies that you do, because I know you do the rapid hypnosis as well, and obviously we know I'm a big fan of hypnotherapy, which is your favorite therapy to practice on people? When I say, I don't mean practice like have a go, I mean like
to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Do you enjoy using with people?
I would say the combo of kinetic shift and hypnosis.
What is kinetic shift?
So again, it's about releasing emotions through EDMR, which is rapid eye movement, and knowing where those feelings are in the body. And that's what kinetic shifts are. It's almost like a mixture of hypnosis in there, in that point. So it's not the traditional hypnosis where you lie on the couch and you go tick tock, that kind of thing. It's not that. It's a lot of
I've had the rapid eye one, and it's quite, that's quite weird. It actually gives you a bit of a headache because you're moving your eyes around, and then you think, well, that hasn't really worked, and then 2 days later you're like, actually that really worked.
Yeah. So what it's doing, it's disrupting your right and left brain to allow you to, it makes a confusion, so then you actually forget about those emotions and you realize that they're actually not as important. They were there, you were either exaggerating on them or catastrophizing, should I say, on those emotions. Yeah, but I'd say kinetic shift and hypnosis probably. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sarah. Are there any final questions before we unmute and give Zeenat a round of applause? Sorry, Mark, you've got a question there, Mark.
Yeah, do you or can you practice remotely from your, I mean, there is a practice where you actually can sort of practice on someone, but they're not local to you.
What, with the EFT?
Maybe not the EFT, but one of your other practices you made.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do. Yeah, you can do all of them remotely. It's just a preference thing. For me, I prefer to do face-to-face because I feed off people's energy and I feel it more when I'm in the room with them. But yes, you can do all of that remotely.
Cool.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we're running out of time a little bit, but thank you ever so much. And please do book a one-to-one with Zeenat. She gave all the details, but I'm sure they're in the chat box as well. the best way to do it is to book that one-to-one and have a more in-depth discussion. And Tony, perhaps you can introduce Zeenat to the surgery, that they may be able to use some of Zeenat skills there as well. But if everyone just unmutes and just give Zeenat a round of applause. Any whoops and everything else is also welcome. So thank you very much. Yeah, bit of energy. Come on, Richard. Come on, let's do it. That's excellent stuff. Okay, thank you so.
The best presentation